Let's share it out. And now we'll watch the intro of a lifetime.
When the day's been long and the road feels rough and the world outside's had quite enough, there's a lantern glow at the end of the square, a friendly old place called the Crown and the Bear. Boots on the floor and laughter in the air, stories get bigger with every chair, from travelers passing to folks from the farm. Everybody's welcome by the fire so warm. Even the Asians. Come on down to the Crown and the Bear. Pull up a stool, we've got time to spare. Raise a glass with the friends you'll meet there at the old wooden bar of the Crown and the Bear. We accept Italians as well. The fiddles might play and the ale runs free. Old Tom's telling tales from '83. The barkeep smiles like you've always been there. That's life every night at the Crown and the Bear. Just don't make it gay, my friend. Come on down to the Crown and the Bear. Pull up a stool, we've got time to spare. Raise a glass with the friends you'll meet there at the old wooden bar of the Crown and the Bear, where $20 is $20. So if the rain falls down on your day and the miles feel heavy along the way, there's a light in the window and folks who care waiting for you at the Crown and the Bear.
I guess I'll have a coat.
Come on down to the Crown and the Bear, where the fire's warm and the hearts are fair. You might walk in alone, but you'll never stay that way at the Crown and the Bear. Yeah, the Crown and the Bear.
And I just don't think it's going to be as crazy.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Morning.
Morning. Really good.
Hey, you made
I wish forget we're supposed to be like this for the perfect episode. It's a bit. All right. So the only difference there is that we had a little bit of Chuck added in for the intro, fighting Powder.
Yeah.
I got rid of the wheelchair-bound Asian girl because I had to extend the Vex one by adding in her scene getting blasted by the Diet Cola.
Yeah. The good old Mentos clip, which is fantastic, that you often see on her stream. That's an appropriate one. We might have to add Marcus at some point too, though.
I know add her with Marcus. That would be her dream. That would be her dream. Our friend.
I mean, I don't want to mooch off of the people who make Marcus, but at the same time, I mean, it's like they have created kind of an iconic mascot.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus just, giving Vex a hug. That would really make her day. It's free advertising. It's
exactly.
basically free real estate.
We're pro Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
We're very pro Marcus.
All right. So let me go to the chat here. We got Waylon. Oh, Waylon.
Waylon.
What about the retard clip?
Waylon. He's Waylon.
Waylon. What about the retard clip? Which one? Which
the
one?
retard clip.
Let's see. And at the end, now we have the Grandma Sandy sounds too. Yeah, so you get to hear that in the darkness. So what I'm going to do here is quickly flash over. Oh, yep. So you're going to see what I see.
Uh-oh. I see Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, it's easy. But on the main screen here, they just see a waterfall. Mini Fridge Mernon. Oh, good idea, Cannoli.
Yeah.
Granny debut makes me pitch a tent. Oh, yeah.
That's
Let's see.
that's the effect of a Mentos that they don't tell you about.
Daddy, chill.
Yes. So
That's the blue Mentos.
I'm gonna go through here and let's see. First things first. Oh wait, I'm retarded. Well, we can't. I can't use that clip because every time that clip was used, people get their channel. Not necessarily. You don't get like a strike. You know, like 1 out of 3 strikes and all that.
Oh,
But
you
every
get a
time that,
claim? Are you
yeah,
talking
you.
about the I'm retarded?
Mm-hmm.
That whole- Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm curious if they get people over like the footage or the guts theme.
I think it's the footage.
Mm.
I think they found the footage and like we can get everyone on this and just scan it on out. But all right, I'm going through here and gonna take a look at about 400. Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly mention about the 400 people who were nice enough to pay their respects to Chucky Norris because
Yeah.
our dude,
R.I.P. Chuck
yeah, a
Norris.
good Christian dude, a champion, a father, a husband, really nice guy, all around, from many accounts, and also own his one of his books. It's
Really?
yeah, it's him, his stories reacting to every single joke that was at the time, and him putting a story behind every one of them that kind of slightly relates to whatever subject.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, it's been in my bathroom for many a year.
My dad did once have a book with all the like a bunch of like Chuck Norris jokes
Oh
back in the
yeah,
day. I think we got it for him for Father's Day or something when that was like kind of a big craze. So that was pretty fun.
yeah. It's just a little paperback, but it's beautiful. Has some really good
Mhm.
stories. It taught me a lot. And how respectful the guy was about other fighters.
Yeah, I mean, like even like when he talked about fighters, you could tell that he, wasn't super super high on or like didn't necessarily get along with. He was cordial and he was his decorum was always
On
always
point.
just right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, like you could tell there were some where he was just like, nah, that's bull crap.
yeah. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
I'm not trying to name any Segals. I mean people, but
He really kind of put it out there like, yeah, Steven, yeah, he's a man. Okay, yeah, but yeah, he has fought people before, like he remained pretty dang positive through the whole thing. And Waylon drank
Mhm.
Chuck Norris water one time, cleared the vid. All right, so on here you can see this is when Donald was over at the WrestleMania in Los Angeles in 1991. Um, uh, Trump happened to be there at the time and all that.
Mhm.
And
Well, Trump's
then
been he's had a lot of involvement with WWE.
yes, yeah, his involvement with them and UFC, you know,
Yeah.
he's always at those events, so he's not just there for. He wasn't just there for the popularity, out of nowhere at the time,
No, I mean he was friends with Vince McMahon, friends with Dana White. He clearly I think seems to like combat sports. I know boxing is something I know he's enjoyed in the past. So yeah, it's combat sports I know are a thing for
Mhm.
him.
Norris went to his peak when he finally got the full facial hair because when he was younger, I like that David Letterman clip where he was kicking
Mhm.
right close to David Letterman. That's back when he didn't do the facial hair, and man, I hated that look. Didn't look good on
Yeah,
him.
it's a weird look. Like he just looks like 70s guy, but then when he gets like the facial hair, you're like, okay, now he can just exist in any time or
Right.
space. The facial hair is like it's kind of iconic for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. close that down and go up here. First off, we get let's see. Yeah. We got former soldier over here talking about when Chuck visited them out in Iraq. Went into a dangerous area that that they didn't recommend, but he still went there to entertain. So that's always nice. Another one, the U.S. Marines saying Chuck Norris didn't join the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps applied to him. That's awesome. From their main account there. Here's
That is pretty cool.
footage of Van Damme training back in '84.
Yeah.
Training, I don't know. It's probably just them having a little quick sparring session, but it is Van Damme.
I mean, it's training.
Getting his hands destroyed.
Yeah.
And Van Damme, of course, said, "I would never want to fight him." Same thing was a same quote from Bruce Lee was, "I would never want to fight him."
Yeah, it always makes me, and no pun intended here, but chuckle when people would act like, "Oh yeah, Bruce Lee could take Chuck Norris." I'm like, I don't even think Bruce Lee believed that.
No.
It's like Bruce really didn't believe. Like a lot of the stuff that surrounds like Bruce Lee's legend is just that, it's legend, and a lot of it's just stuff like Bruce Lee didn't even believe it.
Right.
Like that's kind of like that was kind of what was funny to me. Like everyone got up in arms over like the Bruce Lee scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'm like, oh, he made him look like such a dick and everything. And I was like, well, he's kind of playing off two things. He's playing off of a lot of stuntmen didn't particularly like Bruce Lee. They thought he was kind of arrogant, but at the same time, he's kind of playing off of people's perception of Bruce Lee, which is kind of fake.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee didn't really believe he could mop the floor with, Muhammad Ali. It's like, he's not stupid. Muhammad Ali's freaking huge. And one punch is going to knock your daylights out when you're weighing less than 130 pounds.
Yeah.
And
the
you're
truth
getting
is,
punched by a guy over 200 pounds.
Absolutely. And like, in comparison, like Waylon saying, he's like 75 pounds less than, the Chuck. And we all get get it that, the way of the intercepting fish, that Bruce Lee was pushing was, hey, it was cool, go him and stuff like that. But when you got a man, that size, that trained, and he's been through, I think 182 wins. Yeah. Sorry to say, like you got that much force coming at you, you don't want it. And everybody has a bad day. And I was explaining that to my wife, like, that's why Chuck was always so respectful to people, and he talks about in one clip that I have where he's saying, no, I never would have, I've never heard that, from, any martial arts masters, like, and, and he goes, and we all talk, we do all talk. And, I kind of imagine it must be, one really cool looking room, I guess, where they all talk. No, I'm kidding. But you're like, oh, it's a martial arts room. It smells great, I bet. But he said that basically they all don't talk shit about each other. They, because everybody can have a bad day, as far as like, say somebody who runs a very prestigious school and, somebody comes in there and just cold cocks them, out of nowhere. Guess what? Shit happens and you don't talk smack about that. You don't make a scene about that. Everybody can have one bad day. And that's why a lot of them don't want to fight each other, is because everybody knows that the perception is, we've watched UFC where, you get somebody who is, on top of the world and they just happen to miss one glancing blow and it's, taps the chin just right and they're out. And you're like,
well, and there's the mindset they seem to have, like, as a lot of us in America in particular, we're used to combat sports like boxing, like UFC, where there's, a lot of like pre and post fight promos where, if you win, there's a lot of, in regard to bragging rights. With martial arts, it's very, with those kind of, competitive fights, they seem to have an understanding that it's really just about trying to catch somebody when they make their first mistake. And if you can get them there, you've won the fight. That doesn't mean you're necessarily for all time the superior fighter or that you're going to have bragging rights. There's almost kind of this constant state of respect. You're just trying to find those little holes where you can, get your jabs in or whatever. It's just it's a different mindset, different culture than the kind of combat sports we're used to. And look, I'm fine with either one. I think there's a place for both. But yeah, they're coming from a very different mindset than our combat sports.
Absolutely. That's uh
I
I've
mean, what's
really
funny is they're probably closer to being true because, I mean, shoot, if you watch enough boxing matches, particularly ones where the fighters rematch, same with UFC, the same guy doesn't always win.
Mhm.
There's a reason that the same guy doesn't always win is because one fight, a guy might have a better strategy or he might just happen to, you know, catch him with just the right punch and take him out. Whereas the next fight, the other guy, it's like, oh, he's got the better strategy now and actually proves to be the superior boxer. There's a lot of different ways, those fights can go right or wrong for somebody.
right. Hmm. Yeah, he was an Air Force veteran, and so he was stationed. I forget where, and basically he'd been doing the karate or judo, at the time, and he
Well, you can
tried.
tell where he's stationed because it'll be marked with a white flag. They
we
surrender.
give, we surrendered. But he saw somebody down there practicing and all that, and he was like, "Hey, I'd like to, try it out." And then he got his ass kicked. And he was like, okay, well, I'd like to learn that. And so he started learning there. And then eventually, after his service was ended and all that, he, kept on doing the karate championships and, kept that up for a long time. Watching him fight is ridiculous. Uh, Watching him fight is ridiculous because the dude just like does a jumping, spinning outside crescent kick and just knocks people right in the face. And it's like the most unexpected move you could imagine. And I think he probably won a lot of tournaments with that. Let's see, Blue's here.
What
Let
up,
Chuck
Blue?
fully embrace his own myth instead of being offended by it. Yeah, true, true.
Oh yeah, I
Also,
mean
he was
the Chuck Norris jokes were great. They were
and he
hilarious.
knew that they were jokes. That's the funny part. That's like I said, I got the whole book over here, which is him, talking about, like it's cute, it's funny, and you believe your own shit sometimes and all that. In fact,
Well, and it's kind of it's off. I mean, you could honestly look at it as an extension of some of his like guest spots and movie roles. Like I saw
mhm.
people were circulating that clip of him from the show Yes Dear, where like the guy at the bar is like trying to
Yeah,
pester him into fighting, and he ends up beating the crap out
I
of
have
the
that
entire
clip
bar.
too.
And it's like that's very much on point with the meme, and that's kind of the great thing is like Chuck Norris jokes were they were memes in a lot of ways. I mean, they
Right.
were memes that people circulated not necessarily with the internet, but oftentimes with the internet.
And that
And
was
they were great. And they're still going. That's the other great thing is they haven't really stopped.
Yeah, exactly. And that was pre, big internet, pre the Facebook and that was maybe my MySpace, times when Yes Dear was on TV and all that. So it was a living meme before it was a meme, It's like um the cool guy who comes into a show and everybody knows he's the cool guy, and so they all play off of like, oh, he's so cool. Like Brad Pitt coming on to Friends, everybody's like, it's a thing. Let's say Blue said, I love the interviews. He respected Bruce Lee, and Bruce respected him. They both said they would look to each other. That's the rarest thing I've seen two men say about each other. Yeah, like I said, he had a ton of respect for martial arts masters, even those who claim to be martial arts masters. So right here we got him with Greenwood. Um, they had an episode of Walker together, and they also did some tours around with each other and got to meet the troops together. That was cool. I'll catch the replay. I'm adding Chuck into my source from. Gotcha.
Maybe one day it's like if this show gets monetized, we'll have like you can super chat to pull the Chuck Norris lever.
Ching! Chin comes out of nowhere and beats the shit out of you with it. Let's see. George St.
Walker told me I
Pierre.
have AIDS.
That's the clip actually. That has to be the clip.
That's the best clip.
Let's see. Here's of course George St. Pierre. Who wanted nothing more than this little scene right here of him getting put out by by Chuck and all that. So when 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 somebody who is peak at his game is still respecting, his elder, that's awesome. That's always awesome to see. Let's see. Here's him with Sergeant Slaughter from wrestling. I don't know. I didn't watch wrestling that much, but I don't know what he was a part of. But either way,
Sergeant Slaughter was around like in the like early 90s.
Is this WWE or WWF or
WWF era?
Okay,
like
okay.
He he was he was in there when I was a kid, like back when Hogan was there, Ultimate Warrior, those guys. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, where he used to be a Democrat. That's a old clip, but let's see. And then take this Department of Safety. But yep. Yeah, them paying tribute to him. Donny
Honorary
Osmond.
Texas Ranger.
Yeah. Donny Osmond here. Who my mom had a poster of when she was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, and her mom came in there and said, "You need to take that down before your dad gets home." And mom's like, "No,
not Donny.
No, not Donny. He had the best hair." But yeah, so you got Donny Osmond here, and me and my wife were reading this the other night. I was like, "Yeah, this is what I'm going to show on the show." And the words here are kind of hilarious. Imagine living a life like this. Donny Osmond says, in the early 70s, Elvis introduced my brothers and me to Chuck Norris to add karate. So you got Elvis to introduce you to Chuck Norris. And yeah, you're an actor as well, and, performer and all that. So just saying like, that's your friend group, that's your elite group of people that you're around is Elvis. Elvis introduced us to Chuck. That's just wild to think of,
That's crazy. Yeah, it's like you got Donny Osmond. It's like, oh yeah, you remember Elvis? Well, he introduced me to Chuck Norris and everything. Which I mean, I guess that's not super surprising because there's always the whole thing with Elvis doing like the the karate chops and stuff like that. I don't know if there's some connection beyond just the appreciation for the art between Elvis and Chuck. I would guess there is if he introduced Donny to him, but yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Who was that actor? He got him in those movies at first and all that because he trained him, and he was a big time actor at the time. Shoot, in the You Guys Wear Black.
Elvis or
no, Chuck Norris, his first movie. Yeah, I think it was You Guys Wear Black. But who was the main actor of that? One of those man's man kind of time, kind of people and all that,
Good Guys Wear Black. Looking it up. Yeah, I don't know any of these actors.
Okay.
I know Ann Archer.
Yeah.
People in the cast I know.
was big into karate, so I think he probably had Chuck give him some lessons and stuff like that, or they just both had appreciation for each other and all that. And at the time, Chuck was still living quite the different life. He was still, he was touring around, he was winning, with karate instructor. Oh no. Let's see. I didn't. If it was, then that was before Chuck grew out his facial hair. But Chuck was, admittedly living a life still in a lot of sin, and he was living his own legend at the time. Before he met, the right woman who, reintroduced him, back to the Bible. Let's see. But yeah, Cannoli went back. Excuse me. We'll watch the updated intro. Him going down spaghetti. Yeah, it was so hilarious. It made your eyes like get all crazy looking. I was like, when I typed in the prompt, I was like, make it very Italian. So apparently when I say very Italian, it means you're just hardcore, like crazy about the spaghetti. Spaghetti like Kamala Harris did to become Attorney General. Mr. Brown. Oh, okay. But let's see. And here's him. And what is her name? Her name.
Oh, the girl from The Wonder Years.
Pretty lady.
Is that the girl from The Wonder Years?
I think so. She made a post about him, and
yeah, her name. What is her freaking name? Danica McKellar.
Yes. She made a post about him too, and all that. And notice, not on the boob, just a little thumb right here on the side boob. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. See, it's respectful. It's not Keanu Reeves respectful, where his hand is just floating out in space and all that. But also look at the height difference too. So if he's gonna hold you, it's gonna be.
Well, it looks like they're. I mean, it's it's everyone's just kind of friendly embracing because they all know each other.
Before anybody tries to make a thing of it, but Joe Piscopo has a freaking legendary, like, this dude's face is the 90s for me, like the early 90s movies, like that Sidekicks movie that Chuck did. Gotta tell you, not a fan of the movie. It was, the cheese factor was beyond cheese. It was hard for me to watch even as a kid. I was like, he's daydreaming about doing, like, and goes into these episodes where he's like daydreaming about doing karate with Chuck. I'm like, oh my goodness! Like, I think this kid's psychotic. But... yeah. And like, imagine being in the middle class and you're like, we got him, Chuck. We got him. And like, oh my god, like, dude, like, when I watched that when I was a kid, I was just like, I have to change this, bro. I have to change this. I can't watch this. It was too much for me. It's too much.
I mean, that's basically what we're looking at here. Is we're looking at part of the cast of Sidekicks.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking at.
I mean, yeah. But it was unbelievably hard for me to watch. But at the same time, I respect it. And it was, one more thing to add on to when I was a kid. I loved, I was in every class that I could get into for martial arts because I loved it. Arnold thinks he's Chuck Norris. Yeah. Unfortunately, he'll never be at that status because, NRA. NRA paying a little tribute because they had a thing way back then, basically, where he was saying, hey, get out and vote. He didn't tell you which way to vote, but he just says, just vote for people who aren't going to take your gun rights away. That's all it is. It's a funny video. I recommend people go and take a look at it. Here's him back in 2012 talking about socialism coming to America, blah, 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 so that was good.
Chuck Norris's initials are the same as Christian nationalism.
Dun, dun, dun.
We win.
Again. See, this is his son. I think his son is 30. There's like about a 30-year difference and all that. But his son wrote a very, very beautiful message, to his father, exactly the one that you would expect for somebody. So it looks like he really did try to live his life enough to earn his to give his children a respectful life to admire and to strive towards. So that's awesome. Let's see, Rowdy Piper, another wrestler and dude who puts on sunglasses. And
I mean, it's a little weird that coming from his account because obviously Roddy Piper's passed away as well, but they did know each other. That was cool.
It's the estate because you have actually later on.
I mean, granted, I know the person who's running the account is just trying to honor them both at the same time, so it's fine. It's fine. It's just just in case anyone's not aware, that's not the actual Roddy Piper posting that.
Now, the Charlie Daniels estate is ran by one of Charlie Daniels' children. So that one I can respect because they actually bring up one of Charlie Daniels' tweets from like 2012, I think. Before Charlie Daniels was kicked off of Fox News for saying that President Obama smells like sulfur. They stopped him hardcore.
That's such a mild thing to say by comparison to what we hear nowadays.
Oh, right.
Oh my gosh, he smells like sulfur. It's like,
right.
Okay.
They couldn't have just, but he was on Fox and Friends and that was meant for, a little bit lighter subjects and all that, I guess, and all that. But okay, here's the
as if that matters now. It also.
Right. Oh, absolutely, dude. Yeah, it pissed me and my dad off at the time when we saw it, like, because they cut off the whole thing and then they put out a statement saying that like, we've had to cut our ties with Mr. Daniels and all that, and that was like kind of a sad day to me. I was like, really, you guys have. But here's Dave Mustaine from Metallica and of course Megadeth fame.
What's funny? What's funny is young Chuck Norris without the facial hair. So I used to know a guy. I used to work with a guy, and I swear he looked like the thin version of this Chuck Norris, and he could not have been like more the opposite of who Chuck Norris was. I mean, the complete polar opposite in every way imaginable. Literally one of the most unhinged human beings I've ever met in my life.
Well, was he ginger too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, he looked like a much kind of twinkier version of Chuck Norris, and like I said, polar opposite personality.
That's sad. At least try
It
to
is
live up to
very
who you
sad.
look like. Like I try to do
Oh,
hard
really? It's
things.
like, dude,
I
you
do.
put on about 20 pounds of muscle, do some martial arts, you would look like a taller Chuck Norris, but you got to get the demeanor down
Yeah.
because you're kind of a retard.
Like I try to, every day, take my time getting my morning. I have second breakfast. I, do outside gardening stuff and all that. So I try to live up to my, hobbit looks and all that. But some people don't want to, it's like giving your kid a really cool name. And it's a lot of pressure on that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got a lot to live up to. Wait, we're not supposed to be on edge? Nah, I don't know. Waylon, I think you've got your card. You're allowed to. So let's see. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. In North America, black bears are apex predators, except the one time that one met Chuck Norris. That bear is now a rug. Rip the legend. So from the U.S. and Wildlife Service official account. That's awesome. Let's see. Patrick Bet David. Man who built the hospital he was born in passed away. Made Chuck Norris
That's true.
That was funny. And here's Charlie Daniels' tweet from that was 2017. I just watched Chuck.
That is that is a spin on one of my favorite Chuck Norris jokes. I think the original one goes, Chuck Norris was built in a log cabin, or he was born in a log cabin that he built with his own.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Freaking great. That's in that book actually, and he talks about his childhood and all that. Goes back and talking about their Meager Mains and stuff like that. I think a Native American mama or then a very father and stuff like that, or mix those up, whichever one. Let's see. Charlie Daniels' account I was talking to you about earlier, and he's talking about him and his dad. Let's see. Jeremy Renner.
That's nice.
The McGill's account put out the last time I saw Chuck Norris was at the White Castle, and he looked at me dead in the eye and said, "Do whatever you can to make sure they don't let Netflix remake Walker Texas Ranger with trans Filipino paraplegic."
It'd probably be in bad taste to name such a person Walker.
No, you get behind me.
It's like if they're paraplegic, they're not a walker.
Israel, hola, how you doing, sir?
What's up, Israel? How you doing?
No, then Walker would be telling people, "No, you get behind me." That movie, The Bluff, that we reviewed on Gord's channel. Wait, Gord, that's on your channel, right? Is that in the live section?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not why that video. I know what you're referring to. Though. I didn't transfer that from StreamYard to my channel. That's still in my StreamYard account.
Oh, okay.
Right now, all that is a reference point for the video I'm making.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to wonder where it's coming up with that extra video. But YouTube doing YouTube.
I think it's like I said. I'm pretty sure it's just a weird glitch.
Yeah, it's them putting.
I don't see what else it could be. It's like there is no new video there to make it 20. So I'm like, are you okay, YouTube?
Let's see, Film Actors Guild. Brett Michaels.
I like that you called it the Film Actors Guild. Just kind of slipped that
in there. Yeah. On behalf of my family, myself, deepest condolences. So we got Brett Michaels of long hair, fuzzy hair fame. And let's see.
It's kind of awesome how the variety of people who who really liked him and got along with him. Just thought he was a chill dude.
Yeah, because he really didn't go after anybody. The worst thing that he did in a lot of people's eyes, besides the varieties, was he did have an outspoken view on hey, socialism bad, gun rights good, don't do bad things. That's it. That was it.
I mean, that is the variety view. That's
Mhm.
that's their problem with him is that
Right.
oh my gosh, he didn't have the preferred politics, and they're like that might overshadow him. It's like literally nobody thinks that but you all. Like no,
I
like
don't
in
think.
all the tributes to him, it's like practically no one is talking about his politics. It's like yes, we're aware of them, and he didn't hide them or anything like that, but people knew him because he was a decent human being, and he did cool guest appearances and stuff, and yeah, it's
Right.
like he was one of the most respectable people, who worked in Hollywood.
Uh, let's see. Let's
Like,
just
see, like, so, like
oh, go
the
ahead.
the amount of gall it takes to say something like that. Like, I mean, in order for that to even be close to being true, it would need to overshadow who he is now. But nobody talks about that in relation to Chuck Norris. They
Right.
they never have. People have known for years that he's conservative. That's no secret. It's
Hmm.
like, and we've still made the jokes. Everyone still calls him a legend. It's like he's kind of universally loved.
Right. Uh, one of those can do no wrongs and did, yeah, well, yeah, in a way, but uh, never, never was a controversial guy, and career wise, that's probably to his detriment. He could have stayed the way that he was back in the 70s and 80s, and even probably early 90s,
Hmm.
before I think he told his brother eventually, like, "Hey, I want my show to kind of lean into more faith-based things and all that," because he was, going through,
Like,
some
I would assume him being more faith-based, like, because I know his first marriage, I think, ended in the late 80s.
Mhm.
I don't know what his belief system was at the time. I know he remarried in, like, the late 90s, like, 98 or something like that.
Right.
Uh, and that's when I think you started to hear more about that side of him. Like, because back in the 90s, I didn't hear a ton about that. Doesn't mean he wasn't a Christian at that point and everything, but you really start to hear that more around, I guess, like the 2000s. That's when I started to pick up on it. It's like, oh, okay, he's a Christian. That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had, and which you'll probably see the story along here, but basically he was trying to finally date around and try to clean up his own act and stuff like that. Which he wasn't getting into a lot of trouble, but he went on a date, went to go pick up his future wife, and she was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, she was like, "Oh, I'm just reading the Bible. I do it every morning before I go out." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he was like,
Hmm.
"Well, you want to do that?" So they started reading their Bible together and stuff like that, and it went from there. That's literally how it went, and it just kind of it hit him, and for the best. So after that, he
Hmm.
told his brother, from now on, I kind of want the show to lean more, towards one way and stuff like that, and um, you know,
And you and he and it's and it seems like such a natural fit because like if you go back to some of his old like interviews regarding his movies, he preferred his movies have characters that only fought like defensively,
right.
didn't he didn't want to like kiss other women and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Remember his name.
Yeah, he's in like I know he's in like a few decent sized productions. Like he was in Justified season 4, I think it was. He was great in that, by the way. Uh, yeah, but he's a pretty devout Catholic. Won't do stuff with other women, and he kind of got blackballed for being that way. And part of the reason why they're kind of able to do that to people like him is because he's not like a big name star that's going to be the one who's like leading all the movies. Neil McDonough, that's who I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
yeah. Sorry, I was
Uh,
just looking it up. Yeah, Neil.
yeah, I mean, granted, he has been the lead of a couple of smaller things here and there, but for the most part, yeah, he's a side character and stuff. But he still has carved himself out a nice like Hollywood career. He was in Minority Report. He was in the first Captain America movie. Uh, like I said, he was in Justified. He's done some really good stuff, and he's a fantastic actor. He's a really
Mhm.
good actor, but it's a little harder for someone like him who's not generally like your lead. Whereas Chuck Norris pretty much always the lead when he did a show or a movie.
Yeah, actually, yeah, is Gord echoing? So I can
Am
try
I
and
echoing? I don't want to echo.
yeah, maybe that'll make it better. Um, well, I think Gord,
It
if
could
you
just be that it could be tabs I had pulled up or something like that
okay,
that was
gotcha.
putting me underwater or something like that. It tends to happen. It tends to happen. Or it could just be the nature of the stream we're doing.
Yeah.
The way we're doing the
Yeah,
stream.
the way that we're doing it is maybe a little bit. All right, Gord, if you'll look on your end, make sure everything's still good. I don't know if our audio is coming through. No, I'm hearing
It
you
doesn't
fine.
really it doesn't really show on my phone and everything. It could just be that I had tabs pulled up that I was scrolling through, but
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we'll get back right back to that. Sorry, I'm bypassing StreamYards today. So anyway, another soldier's account here. Basically just saying, hey, good guy, you know. Here of course is the epic when Letterman looks genuinely uncomfortable. Guy who's never been into people touching him and stuff like that, you know.
yeah, he's probably like my life flashed before my eyes. I don't like people touching me, let alone kicking me in the face. But and plus you gotta remember this was a time where such demonstrations like that probably were rare. You know,
Yeah.
you know, martial arts stars were something you didn't see all that often and everything. And plus he's coming at him so fast and unexpected, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is right off the cuff, and he's trusting. You know, this is back when, you know, David was doing his best to really get a foothold and, you know, and to establish where he was. Um, you know, I guess career wise, you know, for these shows and all that. And, you know, so willing to have things come on the show that could, um, yeah, good one. Yeah, we were definitely joking about that earlier. The you know, back then they, you know, they would have like, you know, stupid animals on the show and stuff like that, animals that did funny things, and you know, Carson and all that would allow things to touch them and all that, and it creates, yeah, kind of an interesting show, but you don't know what's going to happen, and that's kind of, you know, scary for people on live TV and all that, and people who don't exactly like being touched. You know, like Letterman wasn't a big fan of, you know, of all that. So, you know,
Yeah, Letterman was one that I don't remember him doing a lot of the animal stuff over time, because I know like even in the 90s and early 2000s, people like, you know, Conan would bring on like the animal people and stuff like that, and seemed okay with it. Whereas Letterman doesn't seem like that's his thing. He's like, nah, we can do without all the animal
yeah, I don't really need the
stuff.
gimmicks. Yeah, if it has
Like,
to
I'd
be.
rather not. I don't want these
Uh,
things touching me.
let's see.
But seriously, guy comes at you with a kick that close to your throat and that fast. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you know, the David wasn't exactly known for his bar brawls. You know.
Yeah.
See, Guy Fieri, Rip Legend, my all-time favorite. Good guys wear black. Movie reference. Yes. Let's say Lou Diamond Phillips, bringing up about, you know, them being on set. Two actors that definitely needed to be around each other. I feel like a lot more is Lou Diamond Phillips. Like that's almost too much good guy, because I feel like Lou is just one of those. You know, he's a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, Office Secretary of the Air Force. Chuck Norris was an airman before he became a cultural icon. I'd like to thank him for his service. U.S. Air Force, many years ago, continued support and advocacy for all members, service members throughout his lifetime. Yes, absolutely nice and beautiful there. Let's see, Mario Lopez. Same thing, you know. Chuck Norris didn't die. He just completed his mission and went to rest. Yep.
Fine.
Let's see, him talking about right to life. And let's see. Here's a very drugged out look guy at the time. No, I'm kidding. You know, yeah, members of
It's Randy
Wasp.
Piper of Wasp.
Yeah, there we go. And Tony Danza, this you know, a video clip of them.
Yeah, you can really tell with all these various people tributing him. He's really going to be known for his
what a
politics.
reach. Yeah. Let's see.
Jeez.
bass player from Five Finger Death Punch, telling, Variety to fuck all the way off.
Wait a minute, what was the Variety community note again? Because I really thought that was. I remember reading that,
every community note, and I've already voted on some of them, but Chuck Norris overshadowed by politics. Okay, Chuck Norris's legacy overshadows Variety magazine. Chuck Norris's death was absolutely nothing to do. Okay. Talking plays that Chuck Norris politics, blah, blah, blah. No, the community notes are actually really hilarious as you go down because Chuck Norris, if he had been awake when death came for him, there would have been an obituary for death this morning. Heaven and an angel. Chuck Norris is a bouncer, sheriff, and undisputed heavyweight champion of eternity. Chuck Norris killed his shadow while shadow boxing. I mean, it goes on and on, with...
Actually, read that one out because that's a really good one.
Wait, this last one right here.
No, the shadow boxing one, because the idea of them being overshadowed by politics. Chuck Norris killed his shadow by shadow boxing. That's why you never see his shadow when he comes up behind you. Chuck Norris can never be overshadowed. That was the one I think I saw, and I was like, that's
Variety got owned. They got owned. Obviously, it's like they keep on putting out these bad takes for a reason. Here's a Japanese lady laughing at the auto cam.
If you look up the author who wrote it, it's the exact kind of dude you would think.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Here's Steve Doocy from Fox News before he got much older. This is 2010. Yeah.
This is what you get for fake news.
Yeah. Hey, remember that time you kicked off with Charlie Daniels? Yeah, it's time to pay fucking hell. They couldn't even keep an Invincible Man alive. Yeah, true. Yeah, Hawaii. Let's see, blah blah blah. Gina Carano paying her tribute because he made a speech about her at one time, just basically wishing her career a lot of luck and all that. Alex Jones. Here's a Rogan clip. Let me see.
Bruce Lee was a phenomenal martial artist and a brilliant guy. But as far as like actual competition, Chuck Norris is the man. Chuck Norris is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's legit. Under the Machados, he was a world champion kickboxer. About as legit as they've ever been.
Chuck Norris could have beaten Bruce Lee, and there's no question about it. Chuck Norris could have beat the stew out of Bruce Lee.
You saw Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris spar as a kid.
Let's face it, okay, if Chuck wanted to hurt him, it would hurt.
If they said Bruce could have beat Chuck Norris, I'd say, how much do you want to bet? I got a fistful of greenbacks in my pocket.
I was a professional fighter.
And he was not.
But he was good. He was good.
So you could have beaten him.
Well, I don't even know. I didn't want to go there. I didn't go in.
See, that's the point right there is that, back when we were in school and stuff like that, a lot of people would say this, like, I don't know why it was a thing. It was just a guy thing back in school, but, basically the whole my dad could beat up your dad. A lot of kids either, favored Bruce Lee or they favored Chuck Norris. And it was a thing where they would, these were real conversations. No wonder girls didn't want to touch us at the time. Because we were just talking about you gotta say, Chuck Norris is gonna.
It extends into other things as well. That's why that's why sports are so popular. It's just it's hero worship basically.
Right. So
we all have ours. This guy could beat up this guy. This player's better than that player. This team's better than that team. I mean, it's all
Like Chuck Norris has the stats. He's got actually real fights. What does Bruce Lee have? He's got back alley dreams. But it was. But
how much energy can you have if you eat dog?
I don't know, that'd be rough. But the whole thing is it's so stupid. People trying to get that into the conversation. They didn't want to have that conversation. So it wasn't really a thing for them. In the back of Chuck's mind, I'm sure, in the back behind Chuck's beard, there was a fist, and it was like, yeah, we could kick his ass. But, rarely did he unveil such things, Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Chuck Norris. That's a good gif.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Somebody did good work there. I forgot to give you a like there, buddy. Let's see. I had to respond to this trooper here. Many years ago, as a Kansas State trooper, I had the opportunity to meet Chuck Norris. Unfortunately, it was a traffic stop, speeding 85 and a 55. Fortunately, Mr. Norris let me off with a warning.
That was nice.
That
of him.
was nice, very nice, and all that. So let's see, we got that. We got some dude's head, and then we got let's see. I am not Superman. This is a Chuck Norris quote. I realize that now, and I didn't always. A 6-time world champion, karate champion, and then movie star. I put too much trust into who I was, what I could do, and what I acquired. I forgot how much I needed others, and especially God. Whether you are famous or not, we all need God. We also need other people. So, good to let you know where he was. And we got to take a quick break from the Chuck to show this commercial.
When are you gonna get out of here?
In a while. I gotta get back.
I love you, Mama!
I love you too, baby!
Well done. That's a good commercial.
That is a good commercial. We need to bring back good commercials. There's been kind of a massive dry spell when it comes to those lately.
Yeah.
The Super Bowls, that was painful. Like, I maybe saw one okay one. I don't remember what it was, but certainly wasn't very memorable. But my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Speaking
don't really
of commercials,
have those.
though.
Okay, let me bring this back up now that we're scrolled to the right place. So Gord had brought this to my attention, and it's kind of ridiculous. That this is such a big deal, and I will play it. And I'll
if you don't mind, I'll set it up a little bit.
Go ahead, go right ahead, please.
So I came by this yesterday, and I saw the whole headline there: Scottie Pippen throws shade, and I'm like, okay, well that that could be over a number of people. That's something Pippen is known to do here and there. And then I saw, oh, it's okay, it's a Mr. Pibb ad, and I watched the ad, and I'm like, I actually think this ad's pretty clever and pretty well written. I think it's funny. And look, I'll tell everyone flat out, Pippen annoys the crap out of me these days.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of him anymore, which sucks because I grew up a Bulls fan. I loved him and everything, but I was like, okay, but take away all the outside stuff with some of the jabs he's thrown at Jordan, some of this and that, and just pay attention to the ad for what it is itself. And I'm like, I think this is clever. I think it's funny, and it's a good ad. I was like, yeah, this is actually one of the better commercials I've seen in a while. So yeah, we can go ahead and we'll play it now.
Go ahead.
Let's set the record straight about Pibb. When you think about Pibb, you think of what? Second best?
Fact check him, Pip.
When something has been considered second best for so long, we just blindly accept it as gospel.
A decades-long plot built on marketing, social media,
multi-part documentaries.
Pip took that personally.
Yeah, I said it. Pip is a GOAT.
It's Pibb.
Don't correct me.
Hey, yo, Mr. Pibb.
All right.
That's clever. I'm sorry. It's like they relate it to him really well. That's the whole point. The whole point is everyone's like, oh, he's throwing shade. It's like, no, actually, if anything, he's kind of poking fun at himself, that's smart. I like that. It's like you're promoting a drink that is kind of seen as the lesser, like Dr. Pepper,
right,
or whatever. And it's it's like, oh, it's the second best one, because Dr. Pepper is the best, and Mr. Pibb, who cares about Mr. Pibb? It's a bit self-deprecating, and it's using Pippen to do that, who played second fiddle to Jordan for a long time. And I'm like, I don't think for a second he actually believes this about himself. I think he's pretty sure that I think he knows that, yeah, of course Jordan was, Jordan was Jordan. He was the best. He knows that deep down. Mr. Pibb knows that they're not Dr. Pepper. They're not as big. And I'm like, I thought this was clever. Everyone was like losing their mind over this. I was like, I think this is a good commercial. It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I mean, calm down.
Dude's trying to imagine. My big problem with Pippen is that he brought a lot of things on himself. As far as
I mean, I think he's that's why I said he annoys me. He's his own worst enemy.
Right.
All the stuff, like, it's funny, like, after, like, the Last Dance documentary, he was upset, and I was like, what are you upset about? People, if they're looking down on you for anything, it's your own words. It's like nobody was saying, it's like, heck, Jordan didn't say anything especially bad about him in that documentary. He pointed out some objective reality that, look, you quit on your team, that's going to stick with you. That's not good. And he was right.
Yes.
So I'm like, what are you mad at Jordan for? That was true. You did something really stupid. You even admitted it was stupid, but you also then said, well, I don't really have any regrets over it. It's like, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so he definitely does annoy me as a person, in this current era we're in and everything. But I was like, okay, but that doesn't change the fact this is a pretty funny commercial. It plays off all the right stuff. It's funny.
Yeah, and isn't that kind of like the point of a lot of things nowadays? Just stir up a little bit, a talk and this and that. Well, you got people really feeding right into it as we go into the comments here and all that. You got people really feeding into it. And here's your awesome comment here. Let's see, but it's just a commercial, and honestly, one of the most clever ones I've seen in a while. Not a lot of competition, mind you, but it's smart and funny. And
I think that guy's right on point. I don't know who he is, but I would hit the like. I would hit the like on this comment.
Yes.
That's not my Twitter feed. I didn't like my own comment, people.
No. This is me.
But fake news. If you all
fake news. The worst. I get on the ground bear and they always. Let's see, but yeah. You got people automatically commenting everything that they can to push back against this, and I don't know. People really are questioning the gospel.
Yeah, they're taking the words in the commercial seriously, and I'm like, are you people really this stupid? Are you really this stupid? Like, this is a clever commercial where they're drawing an analogy between Scottie Pippen and Mr. Pibb.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. I'm like, this is actually pretty funny. And look, a drink isn't realistically, in promoting itself, going to flat out say, yeah, we're not as good as the other one. It's like, no, they know they're playing second fiddle to it because the other one's more popular.
Their stock
so that's
prices say this,
but they're like, hey, we're here too, and we're pretty good. Which, by the way, Mr. Pibb is pretty good. It's like they're drawing an analogy, and it's clever. I haven't seen a Mr. Pibb commercial in Lord knows how long, and I'm like, that's a good commercial. That's actually a really funny commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But people are acting like he's saying what's really on his mind and everything. I'm like, I don't even care if he is. It's funny. It's a funny commercial.
Your stock prices and your bank account kind of tell the story. On who did better, and Mr. Pibb. I didn't grow up poor, so I never drank it, but I kid. But it just wasn't a thing for us and all that. And then later when I had it, I was like, okay, I see what it's trying to do, and I feel that same way about some basketball players. Like, I see what it's trying to do. But unfortunately, like we were talking about earlier, he's his own worst enemy. And this really plays off of the humor of it, as in, like, remember Mike Tyson and Holyfield, and they made a commercial where he's like, hey, I got you your ear back and all that, and stuff like that. And I'm sorry about that one time. And it was a funny Super Bowl commercial. Where Mike is apologizing for biting his ear off, or part of a little bit of his ear and all that. So it was a funny commercial. That's all it was meant to be, and it's kind of it's almost poking fun at yourself, So
and they did a similar one. I think it was Foot Locker. Did one with Tom Brady, and this was kind of now. Granted, what Brady's saying in the commercial, I think, does speak to the reality of the situation and everything. He's professed his innocence in the whole Deflategate nonsense, which I believe him personally, because I've looked over that case a lot, and I don't think that was anything. But they still, in this commercial, they played off of the circumstance in a way that was actually really, really funny, because like it's like they were looking at this product that I think was a Brady product and everything. They were like, it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? He goes, that's a really unfortunate attitude. And he starts talking to him in the way that you're like, oh, he's clearly alluding to Deflategate. And this is actually really funny. It's like,
Yeah.
That's one thing a good commercial can do, is allude to reality in such a way that's like, yeah, that's pretty good. I like it.
So yeah, just a bunch of bullshit made out of nothing. I hate that. But
It's like, yeah, it's okay. It's a funny commercial. It's good stuff. You don't have
Yeah.
to cry about it.
let's see. Any other controversies we got going on, Gordonson?
Controversies. I don't know if there are any. I mean,
What's
like,
the good news, I guess? What would be some good news?
I don't know. Let me check what I bookmarked to see. I just usually bookmark stupid crap.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Like, oh, I could use that in a clip. I am looking at, and I'll share the screen right here. I am looking at. Speaking of basketball players and the Bulls, Michael Jordan NASCAR team has won their 4th race in 2026. Nice. That's very, very cool.
I mean, I heard some people say NASCAR like change certain rules that they have, and that some of those changes were spearheaded by like Jordan's team, and so they're obviously benefiting a lot from it. I don't know how much truth there is to that personally, because I don't follow NASCAR. I don't really care about it, but I'm like, hey, they're winning, good for them. That's great. But yeah, I don't know jack squat about NASCAR.
Yeah, I got a married into the family relative kind of thing, and I can say it. His name is Nicky Formosa, because his son is in NASCAR, and I went over to his house whenever we were first meeting this guy and getting him into the family. He's one of those very I don't know exactly how to say it, just a very intense person, I guess. But anyway, his sorry, my headphones went out here, so if I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Audio problems. NASCAR recently changed their entire point system to change back to a more traditional style. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know what the new system was like before that, so is that good or bad?
But yeah, sorry about that. My headphones are cut out. But anyway, this house was filled to the gill with NASCAR. Like he's like, hey, I heard you play guitar. You want to play my NASCAR guitar? And I was like, oh. And then I went to his garage, and there's a NASCAR ping pong table. There's a NASCAR guitar. There's posters everywhere. He has a work table, for his tools and stuff like that. It's all NASCAR. I was like, so I guess you like NASCAR. I mean, I don't. And he's like, oh yeah, well, I used to do it when I was younger, and then now my son does it, and so I helped get his team going, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, and I told him straight up, I said, for me, the fact that NASCAR is playing in your living room means that I will, after I eat, I'll probably take a good nap. I said, because when I was a kid and I grew up and I saw those cars and they're all just going, and they're all going left and left. Now, if you're there, if you ever go, bring you some, some headphones or something, because it is extremely loud. It's extremely amazing. Cars passing by, going, 200 plus. Yeah, like you get the feel that these are, hardcore machines flying by you. It's very powerful feeling. But when you're watching on TV, it's like golf. I can fall asleep to it instantly. It is a narcotic, basically. It is that for me. So I don't really care. But as long as they're making money, go them,
I mean, like golf, I can get into to a certain extent. And granted, I can't watch it regularly, but I can watch it casually here and there because I can recognize the skill involved in golf pretty easily. And granted, that's obviously, I'm not sitting here saying that NASCAR doesn't require skill. Obviously, it does. But it's for somebody who is not at all a car person, it's less evident to me what the skills are in NASCAR. It's a little bit more evident watching something like F1, which I do think F1's pretty cool, but even that is not something I watch with any kind of regularity. So yeah, it's like auto racing has just never really done it for me.
The same.
I don't outright hate it, but it's not something that, oh, if it's on, I'm like, I'll keep changing the channels or put on something else.
Yeah. Yeah, we got here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I watched this video and it hit me because we've got, if you've never played Power Wash Simulator, it's one of the most relaxing games out. I mean, like if you're wanting to like just sit down, listen to a podcast or like a good audiobook, but do something in the meantime, like Power Wash Simulator is kind of the perfect game for that. It's actually, and it's very like cathartic and satisfying. And I was watching this video, I was like, we need a game with controlled demolitions for the exact same reason. We really do. That would be a massive plus. And there are games out there where you can like break stuff down and whatnot. So the idea is there, but to my understanding and what I've seen from like reviews and gameplay footage, no one has really done it well. Like the closest approximation I've seen is there was a game back some years ago. It was one of the Red Faction games. It was like Red Faction Guerrilla, and you could, with like their physics engine, do some neat stuff where you broke down like structures and buildings. So there's a little bit of that.
Red Faction was one of the first to really start doing that, by the way.
Yeah, they were. But Red Faction Guerrilla in particular, because it was third person rather than first person, you could do some kinds of building destruction, but that wasn't like necessarily the point of the game. It was just a neat little feature. But if we had an actual game like kind of in the Power Wash vein where you were literally like setting up demolition charges and whatnot, and you were doing these cool, like elaborate, like controlled demolitions and whatnot, like that would be really cool.
I think the closest we're going to get it are the little car simulators where you take a car, a certain type of car, you get it up to a certain speed and then jump it or run into another vehicle.
Yeah,
those little simulators. There is a game called All Will Fall, I think, and it's still in on Steam. It's still in its newbie stage or whatever. It's kind of interesting. Things will break down, and if you make it wrong, it'll break a lot faster, and then you get to see it break. So but that's about as close as we're gonna get, I think. But yeah, so I think you said it exactly right here. We need this and all that, and who would be the first ones to download it is the Pentagon. Don't know why.
Download it. I don't know why they don't develop it. They've got experience. They've got experience. I don't know why they don't just make it themselves.
Let's see.
It's like, oh, what's the new level? It's like, oh, what's this new level? Building 7. What the heck?
Will it get rid of a paper trail though? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just scrolling through here, seeing if there's anything else to really bring up other than apparently Trump and the Japanese Prime Minister are getting along pretty well, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I saw a video of her.
She's pretty based, which in a way is like kind of equal parts great, equal parts kind of sad. But because I generally speaking do not think it's a good thing to have a woman in charge and everything. It's I think even kind of biblically speaking, it's generally seen as a judgment. But if that's the best alternative, it is what it is. But it's like, hey, Japan, your men need to man up. Because I mean, shoot, there's a lot of other. I mean, Japan better be careful. They're not going to exist in 100 years, and that's because of them and South Korea. Their birth rates are so just horrifically low. They're not reproducing at replacement rates, which granted, neither are we, which is a really bad thing. But it's especially bad in countries like Japan and South Korea, to where they might not exist in 100 years. Which is kind of scary.
It's the reliance on the soy. They do like their soy, and but yeah, I really like it that they have really tried to take care of a lot of their culture, because you can see now, especially coming out online, like a lot of them are trying to put out the word, like hey, it's not good with all these people visiting that aren't, it's people visiting that aren't respectful.
That don't want to preserve Japanese culture. Exactly. Yeah, and I'm like, you don't really have a country if you don't have a culture. That's just the reality of things.
Yeah. And they know it. I'm so glad that they know it. Random background, but Steve Austin trying to drink a beer during a
oh no.
Oh no. Oh no, Gorky!
It's my worst nightmare.
It's my worst nightmare. It's come lunch through to life. I can't even
I
drink
have to
out here.
suck on the brim of my hat to get some alcohol.
It is fucking hat goes. I've been loving seeing people. They've been putting out videos of them trying to inject singing like Steve Austin randomly in songs and all that. This is how you remind me. It's hilarious. Let's see. Waylon doesn't follow the NASCAR as much as he used to, but he keeps an eye on it. He keeps a watchful eye. Let's see. If she was really bad, she would have stayed in the kitchen. Yeah, well, coming from a place where, she, earlier she was driving motorcycle culture, big in Japan. She was drumming. I've seen a lot of female rockers from Japan that are like, Japan, when it comes to their metal music, is the most soulless music you will ever hear, but it is technically wonderful. It's like listening to Yngwie Malmsteen. It's very great guitar, very technical guitar, and arpeggios everywhere, but it means absolutely nothing to me, and it will not stand the test of time kind of stuff. Has no soul, not a soul. But so she did the drumming thing, her and the South
Korea
Korean.
has a soul. Korea has a soul.
I get it. I like it. I love it. So her and the South Korean, speaking of that, her and the South Korean leader both did a drumming contest with each other. Or not a contest, but they were just doing,
little jam session.
Little jam, and and they made a statement like basically, hey, we're trying to get better about our timing and we're working together. So, that's like, related to our countries. Because South Korea and Japan, they need to be good allies because they're based the same way. South Korea is the absolute opposite, which, man, it is kind of amazing how many people don't know the slightest about geopolitics. Like, I mean, just the basics. Like, I've had family members that didn't know that Japan was, such a big ally of them, the U.S.
They have. It's like they learned about World War II, and they just assumed
they just stopped there. It's like, well, they probably hate us after that whole bomb thing and all that. And it's like
no. That's kind of. It's like, yeah, it's like countries forgive each other even for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they probably.
Literally. Like Trump had that joke when she was sitting there about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, the Japanese, they know about surprises, if you know what I mean. He
was like, he didn't actually tell us that they were going to start bombing Iran. It's like, well, I mean, you didn't tell us about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
like, that's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. I mean that.
But yeah, like a lot of people. You're right. It's like a lot of people. They. Like the one thing I think is really funny is when you hear people talking about geopolitics, like they're trying to engage in it, and you can tell they don't know anything what they're talking about, is when they clearly have no understanding of like how like the placement of your country, whether it's near water, whether it's rocky, stuff like that, how much of an effect that'll have on like your defensive strategy, why certain territories are valuable in the first place. It's like, look, there are factors when it comes to geopolitics, and like how you defend and run your country, that it's just based on terrain and location, like that, all of that factor. It's like, it's not a completely level playing field. Because not every land is the same. It's like, there's strategic benefits to certain places that just don't exist in other places.
Right. Some places really make sense.
Yeah, it's like there are some countries that are simply placed strategically in such a way you're like, okay, we need to take that because this gives us, if we have that, we have an advantage that this other country doesn't have. We can't let them have this because then they have an advantage. Yada yada. It's like
a
lot of people that just it's like there's a lot of people who will see certain things like, I just don't understand why we're doing X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, it's because if they do X or Y, then that's really bad for us.
That's when the Z happens. You don't want Z to happen.
Yeah.
If we get to Z, there's a lot of places that are great strategic value.
Iran kind of is a really good lesson in that because we're seeing that they're cutting off a lot of transport through their kind of in retaliation and stuff. It's like, well, that's why your gas prices are shooting up right now, is because they're not letting a lot of these oil tankers actually get through because they actually control a lot of that stuff. So that's it kind of shows like, wow, one country can do that. Or it's like, yeah, there's a lot of countries that have it's like part of the reason, like when people think about like Taiwan, it's like, don't be indifferent about Taiwan. It's like part of the reason why we want to keep Taiwan as just Taiwan is because a lot of your computer components are coming from minerals and stuff that are mined in Taiwan. So that's the reason why it's like, oh, if China takes them over, they're going to have a ton of, a lot more control over technology, and we don't want that.
Right. I have been hearing some reports about basically that China has been lying about their population numbers, that they've been overinflating them. I had no idea. I thought the Chinese were breeding like rabbits, but then you see places.
I think that's almost certainly true, because I mean they had the one-child policy enacted for years, for a really long time. I mean, it's up to 2 now. It's like, why would a country with that many people all of a sudden want to get rid of the one-child policy? It's like, oh, it's because they actually saw a pretty drastic decrease in population in all likelihood. And that's why it's like when I was seeing I don't know if you followed this at all, but when they were showing like the box office numbers for that animated movie that came out of China, that well, shoot, what's it called? I'll have to look it up real quick.
Okay.
There was this Chinese animated film last year, and it's like one of the all-time worldwide, it's the 5th highest grossing movie ever. And it's called Ne Zha. It's Ne Zha 2. Okay. So this movie, it did eventually release in the US, made $23 million here. $2.2 billion in China, which like that's almost the entirety of its worldwide gross. I mean, there are some other numbers you can get from other countries, but there's not a single country other than the United States. Like I said, 23 million here. There's no other country where it hit 10 million even. But in China, it made $2.2 billion. I mean, for context, no movie that's ever released in China, to my knowledge, ever made $1 billion over there. Not one.
Right.
So, like Box Office Mojo and some of these other sites might acknowledge that it's the 5th highest grossing movie of all time. I'm like, you all know that's a load of crap, right? You all know that's complete bull crap, right? There's no way this movie just came out of nowhere. It's like, up $2 billion for this animated film that nobody'd heard of its predecessor. And it's like, yeah, I'm not buying it.
I think
unless it was like, even like if they had mandated everybody go see it, it's like, nah, I don't buy it.
I think it kind of hit me that it was kind of ignorant of me to believe that they even ever had that population whenever I was watching that, because I was like, what do a lot of countries do, like say like North Korea, who doesn't let exactly our inspectors come over and check everything out, except behind very hidden interviews, and people come out saying like, I was lucky to get out of there, and I'm going to tell you what I saw. And what I saw was, like 1980s technology stuffed into a room to make it look like it was working. But China has, due to, their policies and stuff like that. And also, I think just them throwing out a number just to seem like, hey, at any time we could invade any country and destroy you, just with mass population, throwing ants at this, hill. We could destroy you and all that. I think that's why they had all those abandoned cities. I think that's why, they're like, well, we need to group you all up together because, you're not going to have any type of, we can't monitor you if you're all spread out, with, this, rural sprawl going on, so we need you kind of all closer to, the bigger cities where we can monitor you, where we can, quote unquote, the government can take care of you, I think it was just kind of ignorant of me to even think that they had, X amount of citizens. I think it was just a lot of them putting out a number that they wish was true, so that way they could intimidate other countries. Because if they're busy actively putting students in our colleges to steal technology and designs and try to bring it back. And they have whole families who are stationed here who eventually send their kids off to school to do nothing but to eventually get into certain engineering programs and all that, and then suddenly flee the country with stolen designs. That kind of means that,
or have certain American politicians in Minnesota who have handed over secrets as well.
oh, the what was her name? Fing Fang or
Oh, I'm
Fang
not
Fang?
referring. Yeah, I'm not even referring to Eric Swalwell. I'm referring to someone else.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's
I'm referring to a more flamboyant politician in Minnesota.
balls to the walls, baby.
Yeah, some very overt. Like I saw a video on Tim Walz, and it was talking about like various connections he has and whatnot to China, and I thought,
Oh,
so is
man.
any of this documented? And not only is it documented, a lot of the stuff this video was alluding to was pretty overt. Like
Mhm.
they weren't even hiding it. Like you could go to his Wikipedia page and see some of like the time he spent there and everything. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So yeah, this seems like it's probably a thing that nobody that why is nobody calling this out? This is kind of insane.
I mean, if there were more, and I hate to throw a name that's so popular out there right now, but like if you have more kiddos out there like Nick Shirley and stuff like that who really have the ability to properly get the word out on certain subjects, that would be helpful. It's just a lot of people
Well, and
are
not only that, like
scared.
it kind of sucked that like the part of me that lamented seeing it where I saw it, I was like, gosh, I almost wish this wasn't part of a conspiracy channel because there's almost kind of
Yes,
this. It's like you're gonna watch
it's
those and you're
tainted.
gonna probably. It's like, yeah, okay, but how much of this is really true? It's like there's gonna be a healthy amount of skepticism whenever you see videos from there, and I'm like, the information this guy was putting out, and then what I was seeing, like that kind of corroborates it. I was like, I wish this wasn't on a conspiracy channel. This should just be reporting. This
Right.
should just be reporting. Because holy crap, this is a lot of this is pretty overt.
Yeah, people who have conspiracy channels should probably make a secondary channel where all they do is like report stuff that they know, that they're pretty darn sure that they can verify. And, because conspiracies are fun, but you start to paint, it's like, I guess, as soon as I hear, like, if I'm listening to Rogan, as soon as I hear him start talking about aliens, I just tune out. Or
Yeah,
mushrooms,
like as
psychedelics,
fun
I
as
tune out.
like I find a lot of conspiracy videos to be pretty fun,
Hmm.
but the alien stuff could that like that's the least interesting to me. It's
Yes.
the least because there's so many like things where you're like, okay, it's number one, it's like it's funny, like almost all the alien conspiracy stuff comes from America. Almost all of it.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
really funny part of it. It's like, boy, aliens really like the United
We think a
States.
lot of
Uh,
ourselves.
yeah, I mean, granted, they keep crossing our border, so why wouldn't they come from the sky? But yeah, the alien stuff, like those kind of conspiracy stuff, I'm like, this stuff is so boring and kind of meaningless to me. So it's like the government stuff I think is far more interesting. A lot of the celebrity stuff I find considerably more interesting because I'm like, there's probably a lot more like plausibility to those. Uh so it's like, yeah, those I can really get into because it's like, okay, you can actually check some of this data to see if there's truth to it and things.
Right.
It's like the alien stuff is all just pure hearsay, just about. And I'm like, I mean, it doesn't mean there's no truth in any of them, but it's like most of the time when you see, a grain of truth in those conspiracy stories, they're connected to something more government related or, kind of hysteria or something like that. But yeah, the alien ones never really have done anything for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, the ones that center around like government stuff and like the Clinton stuff, I'm just like, I don't know how you believe anything other than what people talk about with them anymore. Because I'm sorry, I don't know anybody who knows dozens and dozens of people who have offed themselves. I don't know anybody like that. And I'm like, those are like a lot of red flags right there comprised into two people. It's kind of insane that we even have to say that.
Yeah.
But and it's not just and it's like and the connections and the reasons for why that all probably was going on, or maybe even continues to go on, is when you look into some of the stuff that was going on when he was governor, look into some of the stuff that was going on when he was president, it's not hard to see why.
There are some, very highly documented, like stuff that gets released from higher government agencies and such that kind of show you how and why some countries are like, yeah, we don't like America. You guys are freaking evil, because back in like the 70s, there was a town in France that got targeted with a gas, that they were trying out and stuff like that. And like for a little while, everybody in that town was, going wild and crazy. And it does make you kind of think, like, if somebody who actually pushes investigation about aliens, like Chuck Schumer, if they really wanted to have a mass lockdown of total government control, all they'd have to do is just unleash a little bit of something into the water at some place at some time, and everybody in that whole entire state is going to be like, yeah, we saw some weird shit, and apparently aliens are real, and we need to give up all of our rights to the government, so that way they can,
I think that's a lot. Like, I don't know if are you familiar with predictive programming, like that whole idea?
No, but explain it to me.
Okay, so predictive programming, at least in Hollywood terms, is if you watch Jay Dyer's channel when he breaks down a lot of movie stuff, that's part of why I love his channels, because he does a lot of religious stuff that's really interesting, but he also does a ton of like movie stuff, conspiracy stuff, and not really conspiracy stuff from the standpoint of making the video with like kind of the eerie music and stuff. But
yeah,
he goes over things that are kind of a little bit more concrete.
Yeah, that are eerie, but by fact.
Right. And like when he talks movies, he'll talk a lot about like symbolism, whether it's occult symbolism or whether it's like allusions to like, government programs and stuff. Like MK Ultra is like something that you'll find a lot of allusions to in like literature or movies. Like he goes, Alice in Wonderland. There's actually a lot in Alice in Wonderland about MK Ultra, funny enough. And I listened to him break that down. I'm like, holy crap, I think he's onto something here. But one thing in Hollywood, and we've had actually people in Hollywood like Roger Avery recently said this is absolutely true, and he's one of the guys who was he was on Rogan recently. He's one of the screenwriters for Pulp Fiction. Was saying, yeah, predictive programming is totally a thing. It's basically where Hollywood puts out movies that are kind of trying to prepare the audience for how they want things to be. Whether it's certain ways that people live in response to certain like catastrophes. And he goes, and I think in a lot of the ideas that a lot of these like alien invasion movies are geared, it's like, yes, they're meant for entertainment, but they're also sometimes some of these get made to kind of get you into a mindset. Well, hey, if they ever come, you need to do what this movie is saying the government's going to tell you to do. That way you'll be safe. It's basically trying to hint at something they're going to want to do in the future. And I was like, yeah, you can kind of go back to, that's why we go back to some of these movies and stuff. Wow, this seems like it was predicting the future. It's like, because it was, because a lot of this stuff is actually planned. It's like, it's kind of crazy how many people in literature, in movies have worked with the government, and that's on like actually on record, like whether it's, and it's not even just them, like you'll have people who are like in psychiatry, like Carl Jung was like a government consultant and everything. It's like he worked with them, Ian Fleming's connections to like
yeah, those are pretty open.
British government, that's pretty well known and everything. A lot of people think and I think rightfully believe that the Bond movies are kind of government propaganda in a way, because they want you to think spies are cool. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Why most of the actors became knighted, because they're technically doing a government service. But yeah,
exactly. But yeah,
no, that makes a lot of sense, dude. That definitely
but it's a subject that I have a growing interest in, and I've been looking into a lot of stuff about it lately. And I'm like, yeah, this does seem like what they're doing. Granted, it's a little harder to do right now because movies are so bad. They've actually forgotten how to actually make the movies good at the same time. So it's probably a little harder to do it that way, but doesn't mean they're not still trying.
Like a lot of movies aren't really trying to tell a deeper message. I feel like
it's like some are. I mean, and he makes it pretty, he tries to make it clear. It's like, look, I'm not saying every movie is,
a
full of
warning.
occult symbolism.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say every single movie is a form of predictive programming, but it's out there. And once you kind of learn how to look for it, you'll start to see it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is kind of why I'm developing an interest in it, because I'm like, yeah, I want to see if it is in there, because there are movies I have watched from time to time where I'm like, this seems like they're alluding to something kind of sinister. Whether it's they're trying to get you on that side or trying to warn you is the big question. But yeah, I have started to see that in movies in the past. But yeah, it's an interesting topic to look into.
Yeah, we'll have to maybe save a few of those and kind of write that down so that way we can use that on another episode, because that'd be kind of cool to go down that I don't want to say rabbit hole, because it takes away from the reality
I mean, it
of what
is
it is.
generally. I mean, it is definitionally kind of a rabbit hole, but that
Mhm.
doesn't make it true. And a lot of it also is, it's going to depend on the source you're listening to, or you're talking about, and everything. And that's why it's like I brought up Jay Dyer, because I think he is I mean, if you want to listen to a guy who feels, it seems like this dude has read like every book in existence. It sounds like, I mean, this is one of the most learned individuals I've ever come across. He also might be the best debater I've ever watched. He's like,
I haven't seen his debates yet.
oh gosh, there's a lot of people, like, he's been doing this kind of stuff for like 10 years. He's actually worked, he's been on InfoWars. He's worked with Alex Jones.
Okay.
So is his wife. But
he didn't have any weird fallout from InfoWars, did he? He's not that.
No,
guy.
as far as I
Okay.
know, they still get along. He still works with them sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah, as far as
okay.
I know, that's
Gotcha. Different guy.
they still
then.
get along just fine. But he's Orthodox. I know he's him and Andrew Wilson are buddies. He's friends with other people, but there's a lot of people that just refuse to debate him, because he makes a lot of people who are considered good debaters look really stupid.
Yeah, make them very uncomfortable, huh?
He's actually very hard to debate, because he kind of pins you down on like metaphysics and transcendental arguments, and if you're not coming from a similar worldview, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of impossible not to acknowledge the transcendentals and epistemology and things like that. He gets you right down to the roots immediately. It's like, I've seen like people that have generally been regarded as great debaters get destroyed in like 10 minutes, because I'm like, wow, this is already over, and they just spend the next 45 minutes to 2 hours looking like retards, because
Yeah,
it's like
in recovery mode.
he's put them in a corner, and there's really nothing they can do about it unless they acknowledge okay, yeah, I don't really have any basis for what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of arguments can be broke down to basically like, especially I guess biblical, arguments, can be broke down to like, well, what do you have to compare, the Bible to, and then you start breaking down if an opposite religion,
Well, like, one of my favorite things about him is, I've always thought that if you're going to have a religious debate with an atheist, transcendentals are the way to go, because it's like you're kind of both coming from a place where, like, the physical evidence, one of you's going to say it points to one thing, one of you is going to say it points to another.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, so you kind of have to go to metaphysics. You have to, if you're on the more spiritual side and you're wanting to win, metaphysics to me, that strikes me as your best point of attack. He's the only person I see generally do that, and he's really good at it. I'm like, finally, someone's doing this. It frustrates me that I don't see more people doing it, but I've noticed that part of the reason I think a lot of even other Christian debaters don't is because they don't understand it as well. Like, they don't understand it at all, and a lot of them are kind of coming from a position to where they probably couldn't even justify their own beliefs on the same level.
Right.
So yeah, he's really interesting to listen to. I do recommend him to people.
Well, good. That's it's very good to have freaking inspirational, people in your field, that you actually care about and all that, because some people inspire you to do better. Not like, oh, they're cool, but they actually inspire. Yeah, and hard to find inspirational people nowadays. Waylon's got to head on out. You have a good
Later,
one,
Waylon.
sir. Eat a steak, drink some whiskey. Jay Dyer, he's goated, Israel says. I have been lately delving back into Wes Huff, who is violently Canadian, but he
I do like
is
Wes for some of the historical stuff. I don't
Mhm.
always agree with him, but I do like when he brings up the history stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, he
Uh,
seems like a decent dude.
yeah.
Obviously.
Oh yeah. Seems like a very nice dude. He has bad presentations. I've seen like somebody needs to get him. I feel like he's doing some of his presentations with like a '90s, or early 2000s kind of filter on them as far as like showing scenes and stuff like that. He's trying to find ways to help relate it to the audience and all that. But it was like, man, I wish I could go help that guy out.
Yeah, it's kind of the
Almost kind of cringe in a
sad
way.
reality of a lot of like Protestant presenters
Hmm.
is they have kind of a boomer mentality.
Yes,
They
and
kind of have a boomer mentality. I mean, it's
one thing
it's kind of
America
cringe. That's
will
why
teach.
we get a lot of these spiritual movies, which are like super cringe.
Yeah.
It's very boomer coded.
Yes. Like oh god, who are the
And you don't
others?
have to. I mean, if Mel Gibson demonstrated anything with Passion of the Christ, is you can make an earnest film about Christian subject matter and it be an incredibly well-made movie.
Oh, dude.
You don't have to go to like the facing the giants route. You don't have to do that. You
Okay,
don't
so
have
I
to
was
do
gonna
that.
bring up the Kendrick brothers, or Alex Kendrick and all that. Like Alex has a good story behind him, and I do appreciate the things he's done. I do. If you come at his films from a place of of understanding of like, hey, it's probably gonna be a little bit cringe here in parts.
Who is this again? Just
Alex Kendrick, because he was the director and an actor and
oh, right. Okay, yeah, he is the facing the giant. Okay, yeah.
yeah. So like I didn't like Facing the Giants, but the story behind how Sony got behind it, they were like, yeah, okay, we'll do it, and he was like, oh, okay, you'll do it, and there was like uh he's like, well, I'd like to try and show it in the tri-state area and stuff like that, and he was like, oh, well, we're going to be releasing this worldwide, so and yeah.
Like I remember when like there was like that and Fireproof and these
Mhm.
movies that he was doing were just kind of getting released one after the other. And like they're the kind of movies like my mom loved.
Yeah.
And I'd watch them and I'd sit there and I'd be like, am I obligated to like this? Because this is cringy. This is
Mhm.
like these aren't good movies. I'm sorry. These are like, when like Left Behind had maybe the worst release strategy ever. Although funny enough, it's like now I'm starting to wonder, it's like, was Left Behind kind of predictive programming because they released it to buy before it came out in theaters, and now that's not all that uncommon.
Oh yeah, true.
Now,
true,
granted,
true.
we have streaming services that do that now, but I'm like, was Left Behind just were they stupid or were they just ahead of the curve?
I think I think what worked out, especially in the Kendrick's sake, and for the Left Behind movies, because movies, of that quality need people to get behind it for it to even make it to theater. And so there was enough people.
And there's kind of a hallmark aspect to
Mhm.
Kendrick's movies in particular. Like I don't know if Left Behind even money wise did well, as far as like what it cost, because I don't know what it cost.
Yeah.
But I know like Kendrick's movies are cheap. They're very cheap. And he just had to get his foot in the door once, which I think he did with the movie Flywheel. And here's the thing with at least with the movies of his that I've seen Flywheel, I've seen Facing the Giants, I've seen Fireproof. There are qualities to them that aren't bad.
Right.
There are some moments that are genuinely funny. There are moments peppered in here or there that, in isolation are actually pretty inspirational or actually make, kind of do well with driving their point home.
Mhm.
Like the death crawl scene in Facing the Giants, I'm like, that's actually a pretty legitimately solid scene. I like that scene. That's pretty
Right.
good. It's actually so effective that I worked at a place that used that as an inspirational scene to show like, about like working hard and doing your best and stuff like that. And I was sitting there kind of chuckling because nobody else knew what this was. I was like, this is Facing the Giants. But like I said, he makes them cheap and they have certain qualities that remind you of genuinely good cinema. And all you need is a lot of Christians who will, flock to the theaters to go see it.
Mhm.
Now, granted, it's not going to be like Passion of the Christ where this happens in droves to where like every single Christian was ready to see that movie. Like
Right.
Catholic, Protestant, probably Orthodox as well, were all like, yeah, we're going to see that. And that movie was like, for a long time, the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time.
Mhm.
But yeah, now it's but yeah, movies like Kendrick's films, it's like they have just enough to where they get the Christians on board and they make it into events and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So yeah, I'm sure they make a ton of money off of those.
Yeah, the thing is like, yeah, when you had enough people, okay, because his first one, yeah, the Flywheel, was so bad that you had, you know, actors on set who were church volunteers, who, you know, his preacher said, "Hey, I'm not going to pay for this, and I'm not going to ask for the, you know, people, you know, of the church to pay for this." And he's like, "Okay," you know, so, you know, he said, "Well, if you feel like you should do it, you know, if you feel called to do it, then do it, but you know, you won't be receiving direct, you know, church funds." So I respected that because
Yeah, it doesn't
that can go into
as
some
far as
weird
appearances go,
places.
it doesn't appear that there was anything especially dirty done as far as its production.
Oh no, no,
Now
but
granted,
it
I
was
can't speak for how it
terrible.
is now. And yeah, it's if you watch Flywheel, it's a very cheesy film. Now the funny thing is, I think Flywheel objectively is probably a little bit better than something like Facing the Giants. Facing
Mhm.
the Giants, like I genuinely do not like the movie as a whole. I especially don't like the end of that movie, like at all. I really dislike the end because I don't think it's a very good Christian message. Uh, I think that that movie gives a very rosy, unrealistic view of Christianity that
Right,
I very much do not like. Uh, because it like I think it feeds into the God is a genie in a bottle.
right.
Because this guy basically gets everything he wants. And I'm like, no, that's not you should not be promoting Christianity that way, I don't think, because that is going to give people a false impression, I think. I mean, it's far-fetched enough to believe that the team he had would have won. If you know anything about football, it's like, yeah, high school and college football, generally there's the haves and the have-nots, and every indication from the information you gave that this was a team of have-nots, and it's fine. And I just don't understand why it's like Bad News Bears had more self-awareness where they were like, no, we're not going to have this team actually win. Like Rocky had self-awareness. We're not going to actually
Mhm.
have Rocky win. He's just going to fight and claw to the point where it's like he almost gets there, and that's what's awesome. And I'm like, yeah, I can totally get behind that. That's cool. That's more realistic. That has self-awareness. Totally good with that. Uh, this movie doesn't have that at all. In fact, it lacks it in droves
Right.
because not only does his team win multiple times, but then at the end, like, you know, he's shown during the movie, it's like we're told he can't have children, and it's because of
Mhm.
him. It's he lacks the juice, so to speak. And but at the end, it's like she's pregnant, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then you find out at the end of the movie, oh, they're pregnant again. And I'm like, this is what I can't stand. It's just God's a genie in a bottle. That's
Mhm.
what you've reduced him to at this point. It really frustrates me because
Well,
it's a bad message. I think it's a bad message.
my thing is a lot of this is like testimonials thrown into a movie, because a
Yeah.
lot of people, you know, they'll have testimonials about, you know, this and that, and they're trying to, you know, drive some part of, you know, Job into it. But like, you know, Fireproof was the, I guess, the first one that he got Kirk Cameron on.
Yeah.
And by the way, he mentions, listen to, you know, him talk about Alex Kendrick, talk about how awful the production was of that movie. And, you know, he said, you know, you'd have people go home and, you know, one person got a haircut in between the shots. And he's like, you had long hair.
How
Yeah,
could
he
you?
said, we can't afford wigs. But anyway, going to Fireproof and all that, this all just reminds me of a lot of sometimes, you know, churches will, you know, kind of pass around, and I hate to say it like that, but they'll pass around people to give testimonials, especially depending on what sect you're in, and you know if it's how established it is and all that. And you know, you'll have people go around and they'll talk about how, you know, things were, you know, normal living in sin, blah blah blah, and then they do something bad happens, terrible thing happens, you know, families falling apart, And then, of course, somebody at some point finally, pulls like a Chuck Norris and finds the right way, and starts getting back to their faith or into a faith that they didn't know that they had, and really trying their best to leave it up to God and going through the situation, and they come out on the other side with even better, a better lifestyle. Everything worked out for them, or a lot of things worked out for them, so and so. And that's cool, maybe for one movie, but when you make, I guess, he had one called Courageous, I think it was.
Yeah, the fireman movie.
Okay, not Courageous. Shoot, what is the one about the cops? No, Fireproof is the firefighter one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I don't know why I thought Courageous might be another firefighter. Okay, yeah,
Um,
you might be right then.
So Courageous is the one where I had a lot more respect for it, because it one of the main characters that starts out with him does not end up winning.
Hmm.
Of the group of dads who decide to dedicate their lives, and stuff like that. Of these policemen, one of them ends up getting caught and going to jail because he was stealing drugs to sell them on the side. And he ends up having to see his son for some years behind glass. So it didn't really work out for him, and no movie should have it where like you say, you just say, well, God, I'm gonna give it to you, doodly doo, and done, and suddenly you get everything you ever wanted, and plus more, and great abundance, and I get the message, but it sometimes turns into what you're filtering down as like the best outcome that could have ever happened, plus some more. And yeah, we might feel that way sometimes whenever we finally give up on some of our ways. But it's like saying I feel like a lot of things in a lot of movies and a lot of shows is when people sometimes filtering down in conversations is like, you just got to give it to God. Jesus take the wheel. Well, if you don't have gas in your tank, if you don't have, if your tires are beyond bald, if you are, coming around a curve and you say, Jesus take the wheel, guess what you're not doing? You're not getting your crops ready for a bountiful harvest. Okay. You're okay. Sorry.
Well, that's like
Bill
it's
Maher on you.
definitely it's almost like definitionally they're promoting actual blind faith as
Right.
opposed to an active version of faith where you're actually doing the things that you're commanded to do. And it's like, look, yeah, it's like, yes, like there's a certain extent to where you're going to have to trust God with certain hindrances and obstacles you're going to face, but you have to accept the possibility that some of those obstacles are permanent. It's like if if you're somebody who goes to a doctor and they say, look, you're unable to have kids, there's a good chance that that is what you are and you're not going to get past that. But guess what? That doesn't mean you can never actually have kids. It means you might have to take a different route,
Right.
It's like, it's like this idea. It's like, oh, just let go and let God. It's like, you're promoting blind faith, and that's not good. We're never commanded to just follow blindly at all. Where, you're kind of, it's like, the Bible commands you love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, all your body, all your soul. It's like that is pushing an active kind of faith where it's like, you're not just doing nothing. Let go and let God is not a Bible verse. That's an idiom. It's a, it's a stupid
phrase,
saying
yeah.
that somebody made up, or like, granted, and simultaneously a phrase like God helps others to help themselves. It's like, that's also just a phrase. That's not biblical. That's just kind of made up. It probably speaks to, it's like, I understand the principle behind that and everything that they're going for, but even that's something where it's like, I wouldn't even promote that. It's like, it's more, it's like, no, God's going to help who he wants to help. That's up to him. And it's like, that is nothing. It's like your obedience is supposed to be because he is God and because that's what's expected of you. Now granted, God is good enough to where he does reward those who serve him and everything. But, if you know anything about common grace, he'll sometimes do things for people that don't especially love him. There are some really, bad people out there who seem to have a lot of good things happen for them. It's like, yeah, guess what? Life's not fair. Get over it. You're not going to get everything you want. You're not going to get everything you think you deserve, but there's a reason you should have the mindset of I don't deserve it, is because guess what? You don't actually deserve it.
Let me tell you about a plumber.
You don't really deserve things.
Let me tell you about a plumber. And I was blinded, just like Paul. And there I was, cursing God's name. It's struck down. It's some of that stuff is just, if you go back to our previous episode.
I can't stand a lot of that stuff. And it's another form of just message driven cinema. As far as those movies go, it's where the message takes priority over the actual story. Facing the Giants, I think, is especially egregious because they tell you one thing and then they do another. He's trying to instill in his team this idea of, hey, if we win, we praise God. If we lose, we praise God. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not how the movie goes.
Yeah.
The movie goes that you get everything you want. Whereas the reality should have been, it's like, no, you should have lost in some way.
Right.
Either your team should have lost or your wife shouldn't have gotten pregnant and you should have served God anyway. I know if I'm choosing between them to kind of drive home that message, I probably would have had the team lost, but maybe the wife gets pregnant. That seems to be the more realistic approach to take there. If you're going to give him one and not the other. But I'm like, you're pushing this message, but you're not actually following through with it. You're doing the genie in a bottle thing because you want people to feel good. You want more people to attend your church or something like that. It's like, that's more what I got from that movie. And I'm like, yeah, this just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't like this.
Yeah. If he could have maybe changed, that had somebody advise him change the ending. Yeah. Like maybe you lose, follow the direction of Rocky, he lost, but didn't he kind of really win in the, in the eyes of everyone?
Yeah, I mean, and Rocky understood what it was going for. Rocky understood that, it was a love story in many ways. There's a spiritual component to Rocky that really works. And I'm like, Rocky did the spiritual thing better than those movies did because it wasn't really about winning. It was about, getting back up. It was like fighting through and understand what you're fighting for. He had come to find this woman, Adrian, and everything, and that's what came to matter to him. That's why at the end of the movie, he's not disappointed that he lost. He's crying out the name of the woman that's motivated him, and the relationship that's motivated him. It's actually this really beautiful love story. That's why Rocky resonates so much with people. It's a great love story.
So I guess, part of the issue is that a lot of these movies, these direct Christian movies, is that they lean so hard into it that they kind of make a lot more mistakes. They end up missing the mark, and you end up having other movies that have the slightest mention of God or Christianity in them that end up doing it better. That's why I feel like the same thing goes with politics. If you want to push politics, don't make movies directly about your politics. Just, you can have them somewhere far away in the background, and that will do a lot more to push the message that you're trying to get out than making a movie where it's like, I don't know, what's that network ran by a Mormon, partly by a Mormon?
No, I don't know. I think I know the one you're alluding to. I just don't recall it.
Angel Studios. Yeah, a bunch of Mormons that made that and all that. So Angel Studios, it's it's kind of that issue is and maybe they're the least offensive about it, but it'd be like the Daily Wire making
they've shown they're capable of a good movie. Like Sound of Freedom's a good movie.
Yeah.
I liked it. That's a good movie. And it's not great. It's not like amazing, but it's like this is a solid film. It works. It hits all the right notes without being, too heavy-handed. It's like, yeah, this is a good film. It's one that I, can heartily recommend to people. It's like, yeah, you should see Sound of Freedom. That's a good movie. It's well done. But I don't know what the heck they're going to do with Animal Farm. It doesn't look good. I was amazed that was them. And I was like, really? You're all going this route with Animal Farm? Because Animal Farm isn't exactly hiding the allegory.
Yeah.
which is fine. I don't mind that because that is an allegory and everything, but it's more subtle about it than, some other stuff that's out there. But I was like, when I saw the preview, I was like, this isn't even Animal Farm. What is this? This is some stupid kids movie. Animal Farm is not a kid's story.
No.
It's not. It's not a kid's story.
Yeah, but with that,
Guy in the chat, hello.
Oh, yo.
Don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but hello.
Yeah, we don't just want to call him Die. Die!
Oh, no.
But yeah, so anyway, I really wish that there were better things out there that tried their best to inject that in a more subtle way. It'd be a lot more useful for world outreach. But so next week, probably try to look into some of these more direct conversations, so that way we kind of roll off of that. Like I'd like to look more into maybe some of this Jay Dyer, and see if we can find some subjects in there that we'd like to kind of go toss back and forth and all that. And,
I listen to him pretty much every weekend now at minimum when I'm at work. So yeah, if I hit one that's particularly interesting, I'll send you the link.
Okay, good deal. Lastly, I think the original reason I had brought up about Wes Huff was because I had went back and went over the controversy when he had a impromptu kind of conversation on that guy Billy Carson, that whole event. If you remember, it was about a year back when all that went down.
Oh
yeah. So and it does kind of remind you that there are people out there who are like Billy that are just absolutely gaining a following and being pushed. And I'm so glad that everybody who saw that go down got Wes on their show, like Patrick Bet-David and Rogan, who had both had Billy Carson on their show and stuff like that at one time.
I'll be honest, I've seen some of Carson's stuff now. I have no idea
how he got that big.
I guess, granted, TikTok kind of astroturfs people, I suppose, but the fact that he ended up on shows like Rogan and stuff like that, and I'm like, how? It's like if you fact checked his information even a little bit, you know he's full of crap. I mean, this guy, I'm like, Wes Huff was kind of just, when you go back and actually look through Carson stuff and you do a little bit of legwork and looking into what he was saying, I was like, Wes Huff was kind of just pointing out the obvious. It was just nobody else was. And I was like, boy, some of these shows were being lazy letting this guy on.
I'm surprised that racism didn't come up at some point. It probably did in the comment section, but I'm very surprised that didn't enter the conversation. Like,
it's no wonder that he tried to sue. He tried to sue Wes Huff and tried to sue the guy who, held the debate and everything. So I'm like, yeah, it's basically you've been utterly exposed here. You were completely full of crap the whole time. I mean, and the thing was like I think the first text that he got called out on by Wes Huff, he said he misspoke, but they have all these clips of him citing that text that same way over and over. It's like, you didn't misspeak. You were lying the whole time. You were lying.
Yeah.
Nobody was checking for some reason, but you were lying the entire time.
People let you get away with it because I don't know what. I guess, it's kind of like different groups online have a certain agenda, and like even if we're wrong, you're gonna still keep on pushing the agenda. We've seen some fallout with conservative groups and all that online, where it's like, hey, if you don't toe the line on X subject, then you're out, or you're gonna become the new target, in ways. And I feel like maybe Carson was part of that kind of crew where we have a group and you don't go against it, and anybody who speaks out against it, I don't know. It seems like one of those situations.
I could understand him getting famous on TikTok. I expect TikTokers to be retards. Right. I expect them to be retards who don't check anything. But him ending up on those bigger shows, and I'm like, did you all do no background checking on his information? Really? That's like, I was kind of disappointed in like Rogan and Patrick Bet-David, who who I like, but I was like, wow, you all really did not do your legwork with this dude when you had him on, because he was absolutely full of it, and that would have been really easy to find if you just looked it up.
And when people talk smack about like, how dare you platform somebody, like, where was that when it comes to Billy? Because Billy is basically one of these ranting and raving uh, revisionists, about history too.
Like a lot of the times, and granted, there's a lot of people who make claims like this about like how the Bible was put together. It's like, oh well, why? It's like, oh well, there was these other books that were up for it too. And I'm like, okay, first, a lot of the books he brought up were not up for that, but
Yeah.
that it's like they act like just by sheer fact that a book was not included that I guess could have been. And I'm like, that's something you actually kind of have to do when you are creating such a canon. I don't even know why that would be controversial. It's like, okay, let's extend that to today. And someone said, I'd like to nominate the Harry Potter books for canon inclusion in the Bible. It's like, would you just allow that? Or would you be like, maybe we should vet that for 10 seconds and be like, no, this isn't scripture. This is fiction. And then like 1,000 years from now, it's like, did you know Harry Potter was up for candidacy in the Bible? It's like just because it was, I think, a long time ago, people think, oh, well, there must have been some legitimacy behind it. It's like, not necessarily.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's not necessarily true.
Very few books go into as much historical, fact of what's going on around the time that atheists can, all if they're having if they're having fair conversation, they can all like note, yeah, this nation recorded that this was happening at the time. All of them can, all of us can agree, like, yeah, that was actually happening at the time. It's historically recorded, and guess what? It's also in the Bible. A lot of books don't really give their bona fides, that kind of background. Also, a lot of these stories come with pure winners and pure losers, and my thing has always been like, if you look at a lot of books, history books and all that, there's a phrase that victors write the history books, or history is written by the victors and all that, that phrase and all that, and people who would have typically liked to have something good said about them, and different scribes would have probably from their very lands would have liked something positive, or something to stay always positive. But every single person who gained power and in the Bible and kind of forgot their raisins, started to stray away from God, like suddenly out of nowhere, like you know what, I'd like to sleep with my best friend's wife. I'd like her to be my wife. People like that, they have a great fall, and in the end, he never did get to see the building of a giant temple that he wanted to build. He never did get exactly what he wanted in the end. But he didn't remain the winner. He didn't get everything that he wanted. And this is a repeating story throughout history in the Bible that shows. It's a big difference, compared to other faith sets. Is what I'm saying. Is it's a lot more believable to me whenever it's recording what happened and doesn't give total absolute favorability to one side. Otherwise, the Jews would never. Even the Jews with their documents, even the Jews, in their documents put out, "Hey, we screwed up again." And again and again, and this is the repeating thing again and again. If it was all written by, like I said, by the victors, they probably would have been like, yeah, we had a bad day one day, and then but suddenly God came and helped us kick ass again. We had some bad economic downturns, but fortunately he sent somebody in a multiple color coat, and everything turned out great. It wouldn't just, it would be just flush with wins, winning the entire time, and we did no wrong, and you should always look at us as the good people, and we are the victors, we're great. That didn't happen. That doesn't happen in my history book here. So
I know Wes Huff had an interesting refutation to that idea. He has a clip where he refutes the idea of history exclusively being written by the victors. That'd be worth looking up at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it just really does depend on the source. Like, is it an outsider recording it? And, you know, how close were they to it? And what was their documentation style? Was it anywhere current with the times? You know, and yeah, where did their loyalties lay?
Mm-hmm.
And do we have anybody that can back them up? Or do we have any history that, you know, like keeps on agreeing with them over and over? And I remember him mentioning that somebody, who was it, Tacitus, I think, or something like that, was basically saying like, well, the Christians got their name from somebody named Christus. And which, you know, he didn't even realize, like, no, it's a title, you know, be Christ, you know, it's a title, you know. So
Billy Carson was named after a fellow named Johnny.
Let's see. And Israel says Star Trek being canceled has all the right people triggered.
Yeah, which granted, I think I really don't think it's that many people. It's just they're being especially vocal in the wake of it.
Yeah, and everybody's having fun making fun of them. And I mean, I totally go everybody making fun of them. But if anybody has one inkling of, I mean, I just like there's a friend, Admiral T. He is all about some Star Trek and stuff like that. And let me tell you what, I support him as a person, and you know whatever he does and all that, and I will repost his stuff. But I have zero interest in anything ever good coming out from Star Trek again, or you know, it is so outside of my purview of cares once, or like I never go to sleep at night like, well, I'd like to throw on an episode of the Trek, you know. It's not me at all, and
yeah, I'm kind of the same.
You know, and so it's not really like, you know, yeah, but it's one of those we know it's still going on. You know, look at the network, look at the people running it, look at, you know, current media, and it's so awful that I just cannot care any less, you know. But
like I'm in it for like people making fun videos about it, and that's really it. Like I don't have a personal attachment. I feel bad for Star Trek fans, obviously, who genuinely love the series and are seeing it bastardized in the way it is, but you know, it doesn't affect me in the same way, because I don't care about Star Trek.
It's like
mean a ton to me.
A good reviewer looking at a movie that is like, you know, let's see, trans feminists, you know, from outer space destroy Earth, you know. Well, we all know it's not going to be a good movie, but it is kind of fun to look at the reviewer and see just how much fun they have reviewing it and memeing on it.
Oh yeah, like I mean, shoot, if we couldn't make good content off of bad movies, then I'd be wasting my time right now with the script I'm writing.
Well, Israel, I think Israel says, I can't tell if Shatner actually runs his account. He's been defending his Trek series. And okay, so my thing with that is Shatner, the Canadian that he is going to do his best to never stop himself from being able to be brought back in at some point. He's never going to like burn bridges with previous.
Shatner is a very all-inclusive fan with Star Trek. It's like he doesn't want to push anyone out. So it's like, look, it's if you follow Shatner, you listen. It's like you're gonna have takes of his that you agree with, and you're gonna have takes of his you're like, that's kind of cringe. But
yeah,
so
I do believe it is legitimately him. I just don't think
I
that
think it's
he has a good. He's not going to offend any works that he's been a part of. He's not going to look back at, you know, JT Hooker and be like, could have done better. You know, that's not him.
Look at the other the Starfleet Academy actors, like screw these Fagolas who made this stupid show. He's not going to do that,
right? So, yeah, you know, it does sound unreasonable and stupid, but that's just the nature of the game, I think, in his case. But anywho, let me go through here. Gore will kind of button her up here, and then later on I'll holler at you about some future oncoming things and all that. So our first person here, we got Waylon Bosivas. Thank you so much for coming by. You freaking rock. Oh, look, Papa Pumpkin, he's visiting the channel too. We got Canoli
Oh,
Sasquatch.
Screw that guy.
Hey, screw that guy. Pumpkin head bastard. Yeah. I heard people put him on the porch. Okay. Let's see. Canoli Sasquatch, thank you so much for coming by. I hope you're I'm glad that you got that mini fridge guy going.
I hope your showers are warm and your food is cold.
Wash that taint. And let's see. Blue collar. Yeah, Lehuser, you came by. Thank you so much for coming by. And yeah, catch us on the replay. You freaking rock. Thank you for taking the time to come by. Let's see. And of course, some Israeli. Israel gave us the good old shalom. Good to see you, sir. It's good to get to stream with you the other day. And I hope that eventually, when Gord actually gets time between his usual edits, that this will see some daylight, because that was a funny ass review. Emperor Goodwine, Mr. J, thank you for coming by, dude. Appreciate it. I hope that you have a freaking awesome day. And smoke one for me, sir. Let's see. And that's and we had Die came by. Good to see you. Hope that you have a good day and a better last name. And that'll about do it. So, Gord, you got any closing things to say?
Just that I find it immensely funny that we had a quadruple amputee commit a murder with a gun, and yet he was unarmed.
I kept on watching the video of him fire the weapon, and
it's like, how did he do that?
I'm like, what did I see pull the trigger? What am I seeing here? Like, did he have like just one extra? I don't know what they had sewed onto him. I don't know what was going on, but my word, if you, well, you know what? This is giving a little bit too much power to the Kendrick movies now, because anything's possible. Anything's possible. Good night.
That would be a funny thing to post. Like if you post the clip of him practicing shooting, and then you throw in the clip of Kevin Garnett, like anything is possible.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that kid, you know, the blind kid that they let play football. Anything's possible. You know, like, oh my goodness, this thing is beautiful. This is a matchup made in hell.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will say, God bless you all. Thank you so much for coming by, and we hope that we give you a few laughs on a few things to think of today at the Crown and the Bear, and I'm gonna play that as we head on out. Waka waka, and drop it like it's hot.
When the day's been long and the road feels rough and the world outside's had quite enough, there's a lantern glow at the end of the square, a friendly old place called the Crown and the Bear.
The beauty
Boots
of it
on the
all.
floor and laughter in the air. Stories get bigger with every chair. From travelers passing to folks from the farm, everybody's welcome by the fire so warm. Even the Asians, come on down to the Crown and the Bear. Pull up a stool, we've got time to spare. Raise a glass with the friends you'll meet there at the old wooden bar of the Crown and the Bear. We accept Italians as well. The fiddles might play and the ale runs free. Old Tom's telling tales from '83. The barkeep smiles like you've always been there. That's life every night at the Crown and the Bear. Just don't make it gay, my friend. Come on down to the Crown and the Bear. Pull up a stool, we've got time to spare. Raise a glass with the friends you'll meet there at the old wooden bar of the Crown and the Bear, where $20 is $20. So if the rain falls down on your day and the miles feel heavy along the way, there's a light in the window and folks who care waiting for you at the Crown and the Bear.
I guess I'll have a coat
and I just don't think it's going to be as crazy.